what's happening? So, I just want to hop on here and talk a little bit uh, about the privilege of being a Christian. Uh, and this is what a lot of people don't understand. Like, everybody thinks that Christianity is such an oppressive religion, right? And it's funny because out of all of them, really no. Like, the thing is, when you actually weigh everything in, no. It's not oppressive. There are things that we're told not to do to save us from ourselves. Straight up. And it's so crazy because people who make these claims are extremely immature and they don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. They haven't weighed it in logic. They've weighed their complaint in, well, I don't like that. It's like somebody telling you vegetables are bad for you because I don't like how they taste. I mean, straight up, that is what like complaints against Christianity is, and it's so crazy because like, you know, these people will tell you, because you'll have Satanists telling you, oh, Christianity's an enslaving religion. It's like, dude, you're a slave to your own lusts, like, and that's way worse any day of the week than being a Christian. And you think that ain't so bad. Like, you think that you're not that big of a tyrant to yourself. You're mistaken, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, if you do everything that you want to do, it will kill you. But maybe not now. But like, and you're going to die eventually, yeah. But unlike a lot of people have that frame of logic, well, I might as well enjoy myself until I get there, right? And it's like, well, that's how a child would look at life. That is a child's mentality. Life, if you live life primarily for enjoyment, I mean, dude, no, like, it can't be that way, okay? And so the thing is, and so, because there are people on the side of Satanists that'll tell you, oh, well, I mean, you might as well just, or the old Aleister Crowley line, do what thou wilt, that he had in the Book of the Law. And the thing is, no, I'm telling you, that is stupid. And you don't think it's stupid, but it is stupid. I promise you, it is stupid every time. Because if you just do what you want all the time, and look at where that actually got Aleister Crowley. Like, if you look at Aleister Crowley, he had an inheritance that he got from his Christian parents. And I know this because at one time, even then, like, I still study things that pertain to the occult, just so I can know it for myself and other religions, because it's like, because you got to know how to talk to people to show them what's the better option here. And when people hear that you actually know what you're talking about, it makes a big difference than just some guy who's, only known Christianity his whole life. Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but I feel this has got some utility. And so I study this stuff. And so Aleister Crowley literally got this inheritance from his parents, right? And they were wealthy. Not that all Christians are wealthy, but they particularly were. And they set him up and whatever, and he ended up squandering his whole inheritance. And like, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, his last journal entry was about how he's got this terrible erectile dysfunction. He was a hopeless heroin addict. Like, he died a straight up broke fiend that, like, and his main thing was sex. Like, he was always all about sex. Like, I mean, sex with animals, with men, women, I mean, anything he could get a hold of. And he literally, and it literally ended up, like, he got gonorrhea, I think he was. That's why he got kicked out of Cambridge, because he contracted gonorrhea from a prostitute. And it's like, but this is who you look up to. This is a master of reality, right? He's went to these extremes, and now he mastered reality. But here he is, dying like any other man, right? And so the thing is at least Christianity doesn't lie to you. All this other stuff does. Like, the Christianity tells you you are a lump of clay that, well, you come from a lump of clay that was animated by the breath of God. Like, he breathed life into Adam, and you're a product of Adam. But the thing is, it doesn't lie to you, man. It doesn't tell you that you're some, like, in Hinduism, it tells you that you're just a piece of God, right? That you're in the Bible tells you you're God's creation, and if you're Christian, you're his child. But the thing is, you're not a piece of God. And that's basically what Hinduism's getting at. And Hinduism's all about realizing your own godhood and waking up and whatever to realize that you are a part of the greater divinity, right? And, and it's so crazy. And honestly, a lot of these, religions are the same thing. And it's exalting man in so many ways. And not only that, but, and sometimes degrading man. Sometimes just saying, well, you're just a piece of the environment. You're just, in some pagan religions, you're just a piece of nature. And like in Christianity, it's like, yeah, you are from the earth. You are clay, right? Ashes to ashes and dust to dust and whatever. But you are clay that is a child that was adopted to be a child of God. Spiritually, the clay is basically the matrix for your development. It doesn't try to tell you that you're better than you are or that you're worse than you are. And it paints a pretty accurate picture of how bad you really are. But it doesn't say that you're just a piece of the environment. And so the thing, and you just need to act in congruency with nature, right? And that's it. It does tell you that, like Adam was a steward of creation. He was there, and I believe we should still be stewards of creation, to some extent or another. But the big thing our main mission is to give God glory, to win souls and everything else. That's our main mission. And so, yeah, man. But the thing is, yeah. It doesn't try, the Bible gives you what the real deal is. And then, like, think about it like this. So, in the pagan religions, it literally, and, not only that, but some of these, like, you got Islam and whatever, which they say isn't pagan, but actually is pagan when you really start looking into it. Now, it comes from, I've heard some stuff about how it's like comes from moon worship. But the thing is you got to think about this. Like sometimes, like I used to listen to this guru back before I got with the Lord, because at one time I was basically a practicing Hindu. And the thing is, I was all into the occult and everything. Like, I wasn't practicing the occult that hard, but I was looking into a lot of it and not in the right frame of mind. And I was meditating on a regular, doing Hindu meditation strictly for the purpose of of transcending this reality. I was taking drugs to transcend this reality and all this other stuff, hallucinogens and whatever, right? And so the thing is but I used to listen to this guru, and he talked about, how do you know God even knows who you are, and not only that, but And when you look into these other religions, you look into like the occult, all these pagan religions and whatever. Um, they literally have to do all these things to be heard. They have to perform this ritual to the T, or or their request won't be known. I can literally say, "Hey, Dad, what's up? This is what I need. I think it's according to your will. Can I please have it?" And that's it. Like, that's all I gotta do. And stuff actually happens. I mean, like, I'm telling you, I've had many prayers answered. I got one of them sitting at my kitchen table right now. And so, the thing is I've had so many prayers answered, it's ridiculous. And, but I didn't have to sacrifice nothing for that to happen. I didn't have to sacrifice a goat and do a special chant and, get inside of a circle that I made up and whatever, and light certain candles and burn certain incense and say certain words a certain way or else. I didn't have to do all that. And we listen to these people who are occultists and who are pagans and all this other stuff, and they tell you such stupid stuff. They make such stupid claims. And they say, "Oh, well, Christianity's an oppressive religion. It tells you can't do that which is natural for humanity to do." And it's like, is that natural, though? Is that natural? Or is this telling you what natural really is? What we are actually supposed to do? And that's the thing. Like, it is literally ignorant people who, and a lot of times, it's people driven by demons coming against the truth. Because in many cases they don't like it. And that's the big thing I'll tell you about a lot of things. When you look at our society at large, look at how many people are doing that just because they're spoiled children throwing a temper tantrum. They're spoiled children in adult bodies, right? I mean, and the more you see that, you're gonna be like, oh man, that's really what it is if you don't get it already. But that's honestly what it is, because they hear things they don't like. People don't like Christianity because they don't understand it a lot of times. And then also, if they do start understanding, they'll see where it says things like, fornicators and drunkards and idolaters and all this other stuff don't inherit the kingdom of heaven, right? People don't like that. You know why? Because people like to fornicate. People like to get drunk. People like to do all these things. But these things also destroy your life in so many ways. I mean, and it's so crazy because, like, it literally, and if you do it enough, you'll figure it out. Because I did. Like, I rode the rails hard before the Lord got a hold of me. Okay? And I'm telling you, man, like, you can only, go out and do it. If you go out and do whatever you want for long enough, you're going to be so miserable. You're probably going to catch diseases. You're probably going to be broke and all this other stuff, right? There's all these things that come with it. It literally brings death. And so the thing is, I mean, it's just so wild. It's just so wild. And you think you want all this stuff because the society tells you, oh, you need to want this stuff. Why? And that's the other thing, like, it was so many of these ideas are playing in our head, like this guru I used to listen to. He would talk about, how, taste is subjective to the society that you live in. And so the thing is like, I mean, there are, like, I was watching this one thing where in the Middle East they do this thing called a scissor hand massage. Me and my wife were watching this, and they're literally just taking these dull scissors and clamping it down on dude's hand. It's like, dude, that literally does nothing for you. But to them, they probably think that's flawed. They probably think, their society probably dictates that that's pretty rad. Somehow, some way, they think that's cool. And my point there is, taste is actually subjective. And so the thing is you can live in a society that's telling you to do things that you wouldn't like to do if there wasn't that peer pressure in it. When I was a kid, they would tell us about drugs and peer pressure being a part of it, and we'd roll our eyes and be like, "Oh well, it's not peer pressure, man." But yeah, it is, because when all your friends are doing something, I mean, come on. And not only that, but like peer pressure, it is such a real thing, and that's one of the biggest things I've seen as a Christian, looking at the fallen churches and whatever, and all this fake Christianity and whatnot, is it's just people peer pressuring each other to go the wrong way. And my wife can attest to that too, I'm sure. And the thing is I mean, peer pressure is it's such a prevalent thing, and so you can be brainwashed into thinking you actually enjoy things you don't. My dad was an alcoholic, okay, and I don't know if he still is or not. I really don't talk to him a whole lot. And so the thing is but he was an alcoholic really bad, and he I remember he would just get so drunk, and he'd be sitting there puking all over the place, feeling miserable, talking about he's never going to drink again. There's all this drama, just unfolding all the time from his drinking, okay, all the time, and it was so ridiculous, and it was just like, and it wasn't ever worth it. It really wasn't. It wasn't ever. I mean, and it was just. You could tell it was miserable, but he literally made himself miserable all the time because he thought that's what he wanted. And I remember when I was a kid, when I first started like smoking cigarettes, and I've quit now, but like I smoked for probably like, I want to say like 15 years, dude. Like I smoked for I smoked for 15 years. And so I started smoking cigarettes when I was 12 years old. I smoked my first cigarette when I was 9, okay? And I started smoking because of peer pressure. I wanted to look cool. And I wanted to see what all the hype was about, because all these other kids were doing it, right? And so all these kids I thought was cool. And so the thing is I remember the first one, and me and my wife were just talking about this, I think it was like last night. I remember the first one I smoked, I sit there and smoked a 100, and if you don't know, that's the long ones. And I got so sick off of that. My mom comes home, and I'm like, oh, I don't feel good. My head was spinning, and and it tasted so nasty. I'm sitting there trying to smoke it, and I'm coughing my brains out, and it's just like, why? And like, and not only that, but I quit. There was a few times where I did try to quit, and I quit for like a month, and then like pick it back up. And I quit for like, I think one time I quit for like 2 months or something like that. And I picked the cigarette back up, I lit it up, and man, it was so nasty. I didn't even like it, but guess what guess what I did a couple hours later? I smoked another one and another one, so I'm back to smoking like a cigarette an hour, right? And so the thing is and what I'm saying here is, a lot of the stuff you don't even like, a lot of the stuff you've been told you like, a lot of the stuff society makes people feel so pressured, and especially now because like they got now they're trying to make it to where homosexuality is normal, and like where it's more fashionable to be a homosexual or a transsexual or whatever than it is to be straight, and the thing is they literally, and they straight shame you. They shame you for being straight. Like, but then they'll talk about how they're so accepting and all this other stuff, right? Such garbage. But the thing is they will, and so it's just oppression the other way, and they try to, and there's so much blatant hypocrisy with it, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so but so a lot of these kids feel compelled to be a homosexual, or to at least try it, and then they do all these things they regret, and later on they're like, well, God, only reason I did that is because this was shoved in my face. A lot of times, like, if you didn't know all these options and whatever, or you wouldn't even think of them. And then if you did and you had some time to mature and whatever, when you did hear it, you'd be like, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to drink so much that I'm freaking puking? Why would I want to spend all of my money on cocaine? Why would I want to do, why would I want to do all these different things? And so in Christianity at least tells you, like, hey dude, don't do this. Why would I want to have sex with somebody? Just like and casually hook up, maybe get one person at a time to have sex with. And the sex isn't like, isn't going to be a regular thing. There's no love behind it. If I do catch feelings, I'm shamed for it. And not only that, but, they'll probably break my heart. Or also, there's the high possibility that I might catch diseases, have unwanted kids. Like, why would I do that, And the Bible is literally telling you to avoid this stuff that is literally there to hurt. It literally exists to hurt people. That's it. Like, well, maybe it doesn't exist to hurt people, but it just does hurt people. And so the Bible is actually telling you how to avoid being hurt. And it's telling you how to get close to somebody who can, guide you. How to, and not just somebody who can guide you, but the one who created all of reality. It's literally an instruction manual for getting you close to God. Okay? And for understanding who God actually is. The purpose of this reality and all this other stuff. And you don't have this privilege if you're not a Christian. Okay? You literally can talk to him at any time. Okay? As long as you believe you always have a friend, and it's the best friend you can have, and whatever. And the thing is, and yeah, that doesn't give you it doesn't get you out of suffering in this life. But the thing is, I will say this, my suffering that I've experienced as a Christian at least has meaning. Whereas before, it was like, a lot of it was just because I was stupid. I was doing stupid stuff. And still I suffer that way sometimes, because I still do stupid stuff. I'm not impervious to doing stupid stuff just because I'm a Christian. But the thing is, though, but a lot of it before, it was like just, me in my own way. And now, like, I've experienced stuff as a Christian where, yeah, I've suffered, but there's been God to console me, and he's literally explained reasonings behind things to me. Do you know what a privilege that is to hear from God? To hear from the real God, and not only that, here's the other thing, all these other gods are demons. Flat out. The Bible tells us that they are actually demons. And so you literally have a choice of going to the all-knowing, the God who is personified as love. Like it says in the Bible that God is love. Okay? And this is high order love, though. Yeah, it doesn't give you everything you'll want, but it gives you what you need. Okay? There's a big difference. And so, yeah, you want ice cream for every meal, but you need vegetables and meat. You need real food. You need exercise. You need, a proper lifestyle in general. You need good sleep. You don't need to be up all night eating pizza and playing video games all day, every day. You will die, Like, that's not how a human being is designed to live. In the Bible, it literally tells you how a human being is supposed to live in so many ways. And these things to avoid, that it keeps you from ruining yourself. And so the people who say this, who are against biblical principles, honestly, are irresponsible. They're ignorant, and you don't need to listen to them because they're like pseudo intelligent. They're wannabe intelligent. They'll use big words, but it has no basis in them. They'll use these phrases that make them sound intelligent. You got to watch out for that, because there are a lot of overeducated people who just aren't smart. There are a lot of people who they're extremely foolish, but they know a lot of words. They know a lot of information, but it doesn't land anywhere. And so the thing is professing themselves to become wise, they became fools. That's what the Bible says. Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. And so the thing is, and you know how much that sucks, by the way, to be always learning, but it never amount to anything. Well, the thing is, but a lot of these people, they'll sound really intelligent. They'll make these arguments that sound plausible and whatever, but they're not. They're absolutely not. And it's so crazy because, and if you really start learning for yourself, you can see that these people are honestly usually full of crap. And I think they're controlled by demons directly or indirectly, because they're working for people and on the payroll of people who are controlled by demons. And the thing is, and again, people in these other religions literally are worshiping demons. I don't care how well you mean by your pagan religion and how nice it seems. The devil and his angels and his ministers show themselves up as angels of light. And so the thing is, the Bible literally tells you this stuff for many good reasons, and it's really not playing around. So the thing is and the more you actually study. And I'm going to encourage you to study. Don't just take it for granted. Don't just go, oh, that sounds nice. Don't take my word for it. Actually look into this stuff. Start racking your brain. Go get to reading, dude, and explore. And you will see that this is the case. You will see that, these people are full of it. If you're actually studying, if you're doing in-depth study. And you'll start to see that, because you'll start to see what they're talking about, and you'll see that they're either a lot of times they're just manipulating facts or whatever, or that they just don't understand what they're talking about. And it sounds like they should, because they're using big words, but they don't. And so what I'm going to tell you is this: Christians have real privilege, and that is we get to be heard by God. We don't got to, perform these egregious sacrifices. We don't have to use these fancy incantations. We don't have to do none of this stuff, man. We don't have to, we literally, and all he wants from us is to humble ourselves, love one another, and, not be a stumbling block to others, to, live a proper life and whatever. And to not hurt, again, just not hurt ourselves and others, man. And to give him glory, and he's the creator of all of reality. Does he not deserve it? But we have the privilege of knowing the truth. And in this world that is full of lies, that is a huge privilege. But yeah, well, I think that's about it. Be praying for me and my wife and our baby on the way. And yeah, y'all be good. Peace out.